Natalia, I am both a board member, a member of the board of directors, but I am also leading and co-chairing the consumer engagement work group, which is focused on bringing industry together with consumers to solve some of the issues related to consumer and patient data dysfunction.
You describe the overall burden that patients experience. I wish I had the image that you just shared previously of all the medications and devices and treatments and everything that you deal with, but how would you describe kind of the burden that the patients are experiencing?
Well, it's pretty substantial, and it's the kind of thing that's it's easy to acknowledge that it's difficult and then forget how difficult it is. And when I've spoken a lot to corporate audiences over the years, one of the things that's been challenging is to try to get the people, the work of the various companies who are committed to doing the right thing, to really understand that 5-minute or 10-minute or 15-minute additional thing that they're asking patients to do to be able to access their data or their device or whatever it is they're asking them to do happens within a broader context of very difficult and complex activities that are required to manage your disease. So for instance, when I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I had no idea what that meant, but within short order, I realized that there were 5 core pillars of my treatment regimen: lifestyle, physicians, medications, labs, and medical devices.
Okay.
But fast forward a couple of decades after living with the disease, when you have developed the complications from diabetes, so I have eye disease, nerve disease, kidney disease, other comorbid factors. What exactly does that look like? From a lifestyle perspective, you have to eat right, manage your stress, meditate. I do strength training, cardio, yoga. Occasionally I like to have a social life. I take a lot of supplements, and that's like just the baseline. That's the stuff that everybody needs to do.
I was gonna say, that sounds like a good list for me.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the thing, is everybody needs to be doing that stuff. But when you have diabetes, it's even more important to stay on top of it because things can go awry quickly. And then you move into physicians. And currently I have 16 different physicians.
Wow.
I see some of those a lot more frequently than I do others, but it takes a lot of coordination and of getting the information, making sure that each physician has what they need from the other appointments, making sure the lab values get there preferably ahead of time. But that's a lot to manage. And I'm able to do it, but it's a lot. And then you get into medications. Currently, I take 21 different medications. Not all of those are every day. Some of those are weekly, some of those are monthly. But each of those requires me to stay on top of not only taking the medication, but making sure that I have enough refills, making sure I'm seeing the doctor in sufficient amount of time to be able to get more refills if it's a doctor that I don't see that frequently. Several of them require prior authorizations, and even though the physician is the only one that's empowered through the system to do the prior authorizations, the patient is the one who's ultimately responsible for managing and making sure that that happens. So getting the lab work, making sure the lab work comes in, getting it from the physician to the insurance company or the pharmacist, depending on the specifics of that prior authorization requirement, getting the information from the insurance company, communicating that to the pharmacist. All of that is on me to make sure it happens. And if I'm not actively engaged in that process, or somebody isn't actively engaged in that process, things fall through the cracks. And then you move